So, you want to be a music major. Hi, it's Dr. Watson here, and in this video I'd like to share 6 considerations, 6 areas that people who want to major in music in college can and should be working on it at least in high school and earlier if possible. So let me just get into the list because I have a lot to share, and this is going to be sort of a longer video because it's kind of like a counseling session for those who want to major in music. Okay. Before I do share these ways, I just want to say that I've taught more than 3 decades, both in K-12 and university music. I've had tons of student teachers that I've worked with. My own kids are music teachers. They've grown up and went to study music at school. So I think I have a perspective, and this is my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Okay, number 1. You should study your instrument hard. And this has 2 parts. Take private lessons and practice regularly. If you're not already taking private lessons, find the best teacher you can in your area, somebody who will challenge you, inspire you, and then practice regularly to make the most of those lessons. Your musical skill is like your ticket into the musical world. Just like a Broadway ticket, takes you into a show. And the more you achieve in private lessons and practice, the further you're going to go, the better show you're going to see, or the better seats you're going to have in that house. You'll successfully audition for ensembles like district band, regional band, state band, and many other things because of those private lessons and because of your practicing regularly. It'll really give you a competitive advantage. Sincerely, it will. Number 2, get involved. Here I just mean that music majors are music makers. And if you want to major in music and you're not making music with all the ensembles that you can be in or that you qualify for at your school, you're doing yourself a disservice. You can benefit from being in those ensembles, and those ensembles, they can benefit by having you, but don't think that you're the only one who's offering something to somebody else. When you're, say you agree to play cello in your orchestra, it's not just that you're contributing and they're getting to have a good cello player. You're going to learn a lot of stuff. And I'm saying this even if you believe that you're far above the level of the ensemble at your school. Just trust me, there is so much that you can learn and you can gain from being in those ensembles. Some reasons that people offer to me over the years for not participating in their school's ensemble when they are going to major in music, which I know it seems kind of silly, but some of the reasons are academic. They think that if they spend more time in band, chorus, or orchestra, their grades will be lower and they want to have a higher GPA. I do think that's wrong-headed, but it's just my opinion. But I will say this. There's a 2006 article in the Wall Street Journal by Anne Marie Chaker, Chaker. Look it up. It talks about how people who've applied for Ivy League schools like the University of Pennsylvania have been turned down with high SAT scores and with valedictorian on their resume over people who played tuba in their band because the university wanted a well-rounded student and they wanted a tuba player for their university band. So I do think that it's wrong-headed to only pass on band so you can take a certain AP science course, especially if you're going to be a college music major. Okay, other reasons people give for not participating in their school ensemble is that they like to play on their own. Well, I'm just going to debunk that right here by saying music is one of the most collaborative fields that there are. And if you want to be in a collaborative field, and the way you're going to prepare for that is by being a musical hermit and playing on your own, you're wrong. Okay, doesn't like the director. I get it. I'm a director. Not everybody likes me, but I have told my own children, my own kids who are now adults over the years that there's always something they can learn from any teacher, and that's certainly been true. I've had teachers who I had empathy with and personality chemistry with that I really got along well with, and that was wonderful. But I've also had teachers who I didn't, but I still learned a lot from them. The harsh taskmaster, but who still has a perspective that I'm glad I was around them. And anyway, I'll just say try to be open-minded, give your teacher a chance. The biggest reason most people don't like teachers at first is they aren't like their previous teachers. So maybe you're going from middle school to high school and you had a great middle school experience and your high school director is different. So give him a chance. Okay. Or give her a chance. Other ways that you can get involved, by the way, besides participating in your school music program, or let's say it this way, in addition to participating in your school's music program, are playing for your church or synagogue at worship. Share your talents. Participating in a youth, an area youth orchestra or a youth honor wind band, things like that. Of course, only participate in those ensembles if they facilitate you participating in your school music program. If they have an exclusivity, which sometimes causes you to have to miss rehearsals or especially performances in your school program, then those programs have the issue. They have a problem, and they really need to get over themselves. So they're not really doing justice to your school program. So I would definitely consider that. Okay, number 3, vary your musical experiences. If you view yourself as an instrumentalist, consider singing in your high school choir. If you view yourself as a vocalist, consider playing in the band or in the orchestra. Here's why. If you are an instrumental music major, you're going to need choral experience because you're going to have to use your voice in theory classes in college, and you're going to be required to participate in a chorus. So why not start now? If you're a vocalist or you're interested in musical theater, if you play an instrument, you will be a better music reader than if you only sing. And some of the most talented vocal choral people I've known, including the current and the former chorus director at the very large I think successful high school program where I teach, both of them played in their high school band and did play an instrument. And I think they would tell you it was a valuable experience. Other ways to vary your musical experiences are take music theory, and not just harmony, but oral music theory or ear training, where you have to sing in solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, that kind of stuff. And you have to do a dictation, which means somebody plays a melody and then you write down what you're hearing. Things like that are very valuable. And I know when I taught college music theory, I felt that the freshman music theory people were least prepared with oral theory, with ear training. So if you have a chance, take courses like that. Piano is also very helpful. Not entirely necessary. I have known some very successful music teachers and instrumentalists and so forth who didn't have piano background, but I think to a person, they'd all say if they could have had piano, they would have taken more of it. It can be a useful tool. So for instance, it can help you in rehearsing ensembles, accompanying students, composing and arranging if you do any of that. In this day and age of music technology, the keyboard, right, those MIDI keyboards are the primary way that we interact with the technology. So there's a lot of reasons. Consider taking piano lessons and having some keyboard skill. Other things that you could do to vary your musical experiences, maybe a summer music camp too, if you have a chance, and if it's something your parents can help you out with, send you to a summer camp, help you get away from the local scene, hear how students elsewhere perform. And if it's on a university campus, like the one I went to when I was in middle and early high school, I went to a camp at the College of William and Mary. So it gave me a sense of what a college campus was like. Okay. Number 4, this one I'm going to call self-analysis. And this is take an inventory of your talents and your temperament, compare your abilities to others. Auditioning for an honor ensemble. So say you audition for your state's district band or your area's district or region band, you'll know how you stack up compared to other people, and that will give you a sense of where you are. You've heard the statement or the saying about being a big fish in a small pond. Well, there's nothing wrong with small ponds. In fact, small ponds are sometimes great places to grow up. But sometimes you don't have a perspective until you've gotten out in the bigger world and seen, maybe you're a great trumpet player in your school, but it turns out of all the 30 kids chosen for district band, you were 31st. So there's 30 people better than you in your own area. Imagine how many better than you there are in the greater state that you live in or the country that you live in. So that might motivate you to practice just because you want to be the best musician you can. And you might have thought you were pretty good until you realize there's some other players who are maybe working harder and have for longer. Okay. What else? I would say in trying to determine if majoring in music is for you, maybe ask yourself these 3 questions. This is all part of that self-analysis topic. So question number 1 would be, do you have a passion for music? Because you're going to need to really spend a lot of time doing it as a college music major. And if you just enjoyed the bus rides or the band trips, that might not be enough to take you the distance of 4 years in college and doing all the hoops you're going to have to jump through as a music major. So do you have a passion for it? Do you feel it's something for which you have a natural talent? So not that I've really emphasized the idea of hard work here in this video, but also some natural talent. Is it something that certain parts of it come easy to you just because of you're naturally built that way? And then is it something that others feel you're good at? Have people who know about music said to you, "Wow, you really are special. You really have some unique talent in this area." Rather than mom and dad, who we all think our kids are the greatest, and I do too. but other than people who say naturally are predisposed to how awesome you are, like a music teacher. Okay, so let's go on to the 5th area, and that is to find the right school for you. So if you determine that music is for you, Ask music teachers you admire for their recommendations. Maybe ask them where they went and where other teachers that are successfully working in your area, where they went. You know, in the more than 30 years that I've taught music, I've never had a guidance counselor at the school where I work ask me, a veteran music teacher with a doctorate. I'm a regularly published composer, and I'm fairly highly regarded in the area of music technology as a specialist and expert. But I've never had a guidance counselor ask me which regional programs that I would recommend that they share with students. So I know when I was in high school and I wanted to be a music major, my high school guidance counselor recommended several schools, which it turns out would have been really bad fits for me, and some of them not even that great of music schools to begin with, but they just didn't know. I'm not knocking guidance counselors at all. I'm just pointing out that, you know, sometimes we live in such a disconnected world and we're all sort of in our own departments. So yeah, check in with your guidance counselor, but more importantly, check in with the music teachers who you admire in your area. So we'll go on. Say major on the majors. That would be another college choice consideration. And what I mean by major on the majors is the strength of the program. I think is something important. Or if you're going to study with a particular teacher, how highly regarded that teacher is, and the chemistry of it, those teachers. Things that aren't major, in my opinion, would be, say, how much you like the campus. So don't go to a big school just because they have a Big Ten marching band or get on TV, unless that's really a good school for you. And don't go to a small school because you're afraid of being on a big campus. You know, just pick the one that has the best program for you, and that, especially if there's a teacher that you're going to be working with a lot, you're a mentor teacher, like say you're a trumpet major, check out the trumpet teacher at that school. Okay. Number 6 is just be prepared for change. You're going to enter your undergraduate years following a dream, and that's cool. That's what it's part of the journey, is having those aspirations. But during those 4 wonderful years, you're going to work really hard to explore that dream, and many people, those dreams or those plans evolve, and that's the change I'm talking about. So follow your dreams, but don't resist change, because I think change is inevitable. Let me tell you just really quickly about a few personalities. Dan Levitin is the author of a book that I love, This Is Your Brain on Music, and some other books. But he started life as a rock guitarist. Then he morphed into a recording engineer. And then after going back to school, ended up being a neuroscientist and a very best-selling author on the topic of musical cognition and perception. So closer to home, there's a friend I have, Jim Frankel, who started out as a middle school band teacher. He went to school as a tuba player, I believe. Went to undergraduate school as a tuba player, then got a job as a middle school band director and general, classroom music teacher. Then he left the K-12 music world to go into music industry, where he headed a company that was dedicated to putting technology in the hands of music teachers. Then he left there and worked for a musical sales group, where he is now founding their sort of digital education division. So talk about changes, right? He's also an adjunct professor at Columbia Teachers College. So I know there are many people like well-known composer Robert Sheldon, Bob, who's a friend of mine. He started out as a band director, but now he's the editor at Alfred Music, in addition to his work as a composer and a conductor. But one of my favorite transformations was a former student we had at Parkland High School, where I teach. He went off to college as a percussionist, but majoring at a Bible college, at a Christian Bible university. So he was a percussion/Bible major. But then he went on to his master's degree was in music history, or maybe it was, I think it was music history. And then he got a doctorate at Oxford University's Magdalen College. And then he went to Germany, did postdoctoral work, and now he's a professor in Salzburg, Austria, where his sort of focus or area of expertise has to do with modern dance. So, I mean, what a shift he's made over all those years. So just be prepared for change. Anyway, those are the 6 things that I think are important for all aspiring music majors to be doing. If you want to be a music major, study your instrument hard, take private lessons, practice hard regularly. Get involved in your school program and outside. Vary your musical experiences. You really want to be a music major? Do some candid self-analysis. And if you're sure, then find the school that's right for you. And finally, if you want to be a music major, be prepared for change. Majoring in music is a worthy endeavor, whether you're a music educator teaching kids to understand the love of music, or perhaps a music therapist helping somebody cope with change or discomfort. Music professionals help others get the most out of their lives, and that's really what I'm trying to do for you in this video, is help you get the most out of your path towards being a music major. I hope it's a goal that you'll make and that you'll be happy you made.